Welcome to Legacy Conversations, a channel where we preserve military memories and history.
Hello everyone, it was a very special episode, so we are excited. We went to the Saxonwold at Solo Museum, better known, we talk about it as Saxonwold, but the correct name is something else, that's Solo. And we thank them for allowing us to make quite a few videos there, which you would have seen some of them, and some of them I'm sure you still will be seeing in the future. And one of the highlights of this museum is when you walk in through it, right into the courtyard where the museum actually starts. To your left, there's like a display of aircraft, which we didn't record because it's Second World War aircraft, but very, very fascinating, worth your while to visit. And on the right side, you will find a memorial for 44 Parachute Battalion. It's like names on a wall of everyone who died. It's impossible to walk past it without, just bowing your head for a minute of silence. But if you go past that as well, you walk right into the 6-1 Mech Monument. Now, that is a fantastic place because we have you have to see the videos to understand what I mean. And it's almost holy ground. It does feel like you're in a church or somewhere, because when you stand next to it and you walk around it and you read the names of those who died, you can see this is something else. This is not a place where you joke around. And we were very lucky that we had the former commander of 6-1 Mech with us, Brigadier General retired, I think, Bok Smit. And he explained to us what this is about and what they are doing and how you can assist. Because, guys, once again, we certainly don't live in a country where I would say the government care that much about the veterans of the other side. In other words, people who look like us. And that's just a plain fact. Yes, there are people who's been assisted, and yes, the veterans organizations, we spoke to them on Legacy. They did very well, and they are still trying it. You should join them up, and you should keep on trying to get your benefits. But at some stage, it is a bit easier for us just to help ourselves, and we think, or I think anyway, that that's what we should do. We should carry on and do what we do best and just turn inwards and help ourselves. And there's ways you can do that. At the end of this video, I will leave details how you can join the 6-1 Mech Backup Body Fund, things like that. This has been used not to enrich anybody, but to assist those in need. And don't tell me that it can never happen to you. I've traveled through South Africa for 2.5 months, and I've seen a lot of things which I never expected I would ever see. You might think you're in a good position and you are doing very well. And I'm very glad for you if you are doing very well. But there's a lot of our veterans who are really not doing very well and who really are in need of assistance. So let us help. Let us see how we can assist.
I'm Brigadier General Smit, retired officer of the South African Army. I am the 5th officer commanding of the unit and was the operational commander for the Battle of the Lombard in 1987. People also know me as Bok Smit, which was my nickname at the time, where I served in my military career on an operational and tactical level at 1 South African Infantry Battalion and 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group as platoon commander, company commander, and battalion commanders in the years 86 and 87. When I was a young boy, I aspired to become an architect. And after my term of office at 6-1 at Umatia and Tsumeb came to an end, I was posted at the Army College, and at the time I enrolled and extramurally studied architecture. And in 1992 I was certified. Subsequently, I've registered with the South African Council for the Architectural Profession, and I still have my license, and I'm a valid practitioner as we speak. Today I'm at the National Museum for Military Heritage, situated in Saxonwold, close to Johannesburg in Gauteng, and I'm standing next to a memorial. This memorial has been erected 3 times. Originally it was stationed at the operational base Umatia in the northern part, what is today known as Namibia. It was relocated at Luatla in the Northern Cape, and after the disbandment of 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group in 2005, it was re-erected in the later part of 2008 with the establishment of the 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group Veterans Organization. Originally, the memorial, with no limitations on space, had a different approach, and the centerpiece and the middle part of the memorial is exactly as it was done in Umatia and at Luatla. When it has to be re-established and re-erected at the museum, the area which was allowed was nowhere in comparison or comparative to what we used to have at Luatla. That required me to do a new design where the individual granite blocks, which used to be on the outside perimeters, have now been incorporated on the pedestal of the needle. The needle in itself originates from Karabip, Namibia, and the then officer commanding in the years 1979 and 1980 took the initiative to start erecting a memorial which will display the names of the people who lost their life in service of the unit. In its lifespan from 1979 until 2005, this unit has participated in a number of operational circumstances in operations. Namibia, or the Southwest Africa, Operation Carrot, Angola operations, starting with Operation Reindeer, until the final participation is with the SWAPO infiltration in 1988. And thereafter it was deployed in South Africa and will play a pivotal role in the transgression from a non-democratic to a democratic situation or society in the Republic of South Africa. The granite plates reflect a specific operation and the names of the people who paid the highest price. Every year in August, we have our annual memorial service. Usually it has been attended by 6-1 military veterans other military dignitaries, other military veterans organizations, people from the public, where we pay homage to those who pass on and pay the ultimate price. Events like that is being hosted as we speak at two positions, the National Museum where we stand today, and we have in the Western Cape at the Soetendal Vineyards a alternative or an additional memorial service with the vision that over time memorial services should be held on a Saturday in the month of August at many places, and not only Johannesburg but also KwaZulu-Natal, the Western Cape, the Eastern Cape and the like. Behind me is the Hind Memorial. A very prominent centerpiece of the Hind Memorial is the clock. This clock was obtained as a result of Operation Modular and specifically the Battle of the Lomba on the 3rd of October 1987. The result of the Battle of the Lomba was the total destruction of the 47th Fapla Brigade, and the loss of life experience resulted that unit or brigade totally disappeared and was never re-established again. During the course of the battle, 6-1 has suffered some casualties. One of the casualties was a fatal casualty, the only one of the Battle of the Lomba, 3rd October 1987. And a young lieutenant who lost his life was Adrian Hind. He was the troop commander of an armor car troop, part and parcel of C Squadron, equipped with Ratel 90s. And his vehicle was shot out by an enemy tank, with resulting in the young man losing his life and paying the ultimate price for that. Memorials like this, the 6-1 Memorial, the Hind Memorial, the displays at the Battalion Museum, the museum in Bloemfontein, the very small display at the SA Army College pay tribute to the 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group, its sequel, the 6-1 Mechanized Veterans Organization and its association. And these memorials are open to the public. Apart from the day of Christmas, the Ditsong Museum for National Heritage is open for the 364 days of the year, where the memorial and the Hind Memorial can be viewed. At the bottom of the Hind Memorial is a little forest. 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group started in 2010 with what is called battle tour or battlefield tours. And The former foes, professional soldiers on the other side, have now done what professional soldiers do. They have put out the hand of friendship. The hand of friendship was accepted, and this display, for those of you who are fortunate enough to go to the environment of Tumpu next to Quetta Carnival, will find exactly a replica of that. This has been added as a reminder that former foes, after the military objective was achieved, politically peace has been made between South Africa and Angola, and us as professional soldiers follow the deed and new acquaintances to our former foes. Currently, I am the patron and the chairperson of the non-profit company of the 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group Veterans Association. Potentially, about 8,000 people have served as a member of the association, and we have currently more than 500 paid-up members of the association. We have 4 categories of membership. Full members, for those who are members who have served with 6-1 in any capacity as a member of the unit, being a full-time member or being attached to the unit. Attachment requires a minimum period of 55 days or participation in an operation other than preparation or training exercises. The second category of membership is associates. The associate is any member who has an interest and would like to participate in our quest for longevity of the organization, may join the organization, and they will have then membership referred to as an associate. Thirdly, we have corporate membership, primarily aimed at corporate entities who have in the past contribute to the legacy of 6-1 Mechanized Battalion Group. And the last category is honorary membership for a person who didn't serve with the unit but has made a contribution towards the association as we speak today. We must accept that the people who serve at 6-1 in the 1980s were primarily national servicemen. A national serviceman was called up for a period of 24 months. The first 12 months was dedicated to training, and training was undertaken at 4 artillery regiment for artillery people, 10 artillery regiment for anti-aircraft regiments, 1 South African battalion for mechanized infantry, 1 SSB or 2 SSB for armor cars, the School of Armor for tanks, the Signal School for people of the Signal Troop, 1 maintenance unit for them, the catering school, and the like. These young men, in their second year, were posted until the early 1980s for a term of service at 6-1, but from the latter part of 1983, people were transferred for a period of 12 months from January to December, when they were replaced or relieved in the line by new conscripts, new trainees, which then served with the unit for another 12 years. These young men, under command of the permanent force commanders, subunit commanders, platoon commanders, regimental sergeant majors, non-commissioned officers, all serve with distinction. And they've seen in their young lives horrific things. And if you are a person where one of your compatriots are being killed in close proximity, and if you observe in a township that a woman has been set alight, and this has been witnessed by you, we still have today unresolved post-traumatic stress. And for that very reason, the vision of the 6-1 Mechanized Veterans Organization has specific projects to reach out, to be able to support our veterans emotionally, physically, and even in some cases financially, to make ends meet. And how are we funded to do the work that we're doing? We request and require our members to pay an annual fee, which is primarily used to administer the organization. We from time to time receive donations which is then either directed for the upkeep of the memorial, for the improvement of the memorial, as well as a specific fund which was established in 2020, referred to as the Buddy Fund, where people can make financial contributions, ring-fenced, to be used only for the benefit of military veterans, to help them overcome daily livelihood challenges. In this regard, we have exemplary members who very recently spent more than 1,000 kilometers on a bicycle seat, participate from Bloemfontein, end up in Ceres, in the so-called Moonga. The efforts by the 3 riders from 6-1 contribute in this financial year to more than 100,000 rand, which will be ring-fenced and only used to the benefit of our veterans and the support thereof.
The Ditsong National Museum of Military History was established during the Second World War, largely as a result of the fact that South Africa had made no attempt during the First World War to record its activities in that war. So, fortunately, when General Smuts became Prime Minister in 1939 and South Africa declared war, he made sure that our involvement in the Second World War would be recorded for posterity and for future generations. The result of that was the start of what was then known as the South African National War Museum. The museum was opened on these premises in August 1947, and at the time of the opening, Smuts said that the museum would serve as a memorial to what was then known as the greatest united effort our country had produced, which was the involvement in the Second World War. He also said that the museum would serve as a warning for future generations that the weapons that they see here must never be used again. Unfortunately, as we all know, that warning has not been heeded. In the early 1970s, the museum became known as the South African National Museum of Military History, and the scope was shifted to the preservation and recording of the entire history of South Africa. So not just the First and Second World Wars, but all wars, all conflicts where South Africans had been involved. In the late 1990s, under the new dispensation, all the national museums were amalgamated, and the three national museums in the Gauteng province, this museum and the National Cultural History Museum and the Transvaal Museum, were amalgamated together to form what was then became known as Ditsong Museums of South Africa. And this museum has from then been known as the Ditsong National Museum of Military History, and that is our official name today. We preserve, as has been said, all aspects of South Africa's military history, and the exhibits that you see here at the museum are not here to glorify war. The exhibits are here to show what can be done if necessary, and show that war is a sad thing. People die in warfare. We like to educate people that war is not a good thing at all. But we do acknowledge that people went and served their country. In many cases, they volunteered to do this, and many people paid the supreme sacrifice for their country. And we acknowledge that as well. And as such, the museum is also, we consider it home to all military veterans who have served their country. And many veterans associations, such as the Moths, the Memorable Order of Tin Hats, the South African Legion of Military Veterans, and other associations such as the Gunners Association, the SAF Association, and the South African Armour Association also hold their respective commemorations here at the museum as well. The museum is open 7 days a week. The only 2 days that the museum is not open is Good Friday and Christmas Day. Our opening times are from 9 till 4:30 every day, Monday to Sunday. The entrance fee is 50 Rand. Subject to change, that's a minimum fee. There are other fees for scholars and for senior citizens. The facilities that we offer here at the museum is basically for everybody, not just for military enthusiasts. We do have a conference center here. We do allow for events to take place, such as conferences, meetings, events. You could have cocktail parties here. We've had many in the past. We also welcome children's birthday parties. They seem to be very popular here. And people are welcome to come with a picnic basket and sit on the lawn and, just take in the atmosphere the garden, the tranquil surrounds that we have here at the museum. One of our facilities we have here is free parking. We do not charge for parking. The parking is secure as well. We do have full-time security plus security cameras. The museum falls under Ditsong Museums of South Africa has been spoken about. The Ditsong then falls under the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Being a government department, funding is not entirely adequate. We do need further donations and support. We do have a building and development trust run by veterans and people who support the museum, and they raise funds to assist various programs that the museum has. We are always looking for volunteers in this regard. Every quarter we have what we call maintenance days at the museum, where people come and help clean the exhibits and do maintenance around the museum. That seems to be very popular with the crowd. We also require support with certain technological aspects, such as maintenance of exhibits. There are times where we don't have the technical capacity to carry out such maintenance. So voluntary support is always welcome here at the museum. We rely as well on donations. They can either be monetary, which would go towards the upkeep of this museum, as well as exhibits. And we look at exhibits that maybe have someone that was very important, medals or uniforms or what have you, or even other things such as badges, photographs, even documentation such as diaries, letters that go into our archives. We do have a library here, one of the most substantial military history libraries in the Southern Hemisphere. It is open during weekdays, during opening hours here at the museum. People are welcome to visit the library or make an appointment to do research in our library as well. As the director of this fine establishment, we welcome everybody here to this museum. I look forward to seeing more and more people coming to learn about our military history and using our facilities. People are always very welcome here.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to receive notifications.